So the next thing is we'll learn how to import the media into this media bin. So to do that, let me show you how I arrange my media. For example, in this file, you can see this Filmora 12. You can just open it. And you can see I have the sample video that I want to import. Spend some time with yourself. And then we have B-rolls. Now, B-rolls is a combination of two things. For example, I can have a list of images, which I have here. And then I can have videos as well, which I have downloaded and imported here. So we have B-rolls as a folder, and then we have a music as a folder also. All the music that I'm going to use are housed here. The B-rolls in terms of images and videos are housed here. So you can arrange your media very easily so that you can have smooth flow during the editing process. So there are three basic ways to import your media. You can drag and drop them over here, just like you have seen, or you can click here to import the media by just clicking directly. You can import the media. Navigate to wherever you have it within your system. For example, in my own case, I have it here, and I have it in this Filmora 12. I can select any of them. I can select them and then click on open to open the media. Alternatively, the second method is you can come to the import over here, click on import, and it can take you to the same place. You just select and then you open to import it into the media bin. And the last method is you can come to file over here, and as you come to open media, you can open media files. Okay, you can open individual files, or you can open media folder if you want. Okay, and you can connect also from external devices, and you can open medias from all of these different devices that we've highlighted recently. Okay, so you can just go ahead, import your media. In my own case, I would like to import the whole file that I have shown. Okay, or let me just import one by one. Just go media file, and I'm going to here. You can import this. I select this and say open, and you can see it has just imported my video. If you want to import the remaining ones, you can just go ahead, import them. Go ahead to import. I want to import this file, this whole folder, B-rolls. I can just select and say open, and you can see it has just imported the whole folder as B-rolls. Okay, you can see it has just imported the whole folder as B-rolls. And then I want to import the image. I want to import the music. You can just go ahead, come back to the same Filmora, and then import music, select music, and then go ahead and import music as a folder. So we have everything imported. Now, the next thing is we can try to preview the video that before we take it into the timeline. And now to take it into the timeline, there are two methods also. You can double click, or you can drag and drop the video just like so into the timeline very easily. You can do that, and you can have the option to check the resolution of the image to match to media or to keep the existing settings. Okay, so you can match the media if you want. I can say match the media, and then it has just imported. So you can see that it has imported the video, showing its thumbnails over here and showing the media or the audio section with the audio profile, the volume profile. You can see it over here at the bottom. So this is the first method to import, and once you import it, you can see the preview of the video within the preview panel. Okay, so you can see we have the thumbnail view, and then the volume profile of the audio section, and then you have the preview panel. Okay, the video shown on the preview panel, where you can move with the playhead, just like this red playhead. You just click and move around, and you can see the preview of what you are working on. So alternatively, let me undo this and try to import again using another method. You can click on this, double click, and it will show the preview of the video on this. And what I want to show you is a very simple way of importing media, and that is utilizing the in point and out point. So you can move around to anywhere you want. For example, I want to import at this point. I can come over here, click on this mark as in, mark in. Okay, mark in. So this is the in point. I can now move to this point and then mark out. This on mark out. So this is mark out. So I can just mark in and out, and this is the location I want to import into the timeline. So to do that, all you need to do is just drag and drop, and it's just going to import the areas that you have just selected as mark in and mark out. So if you want to confirm that, you can just come all the way here. So you can zoom in and out of the timeline, and zoom in, and you can zoom out of the timeline as well, so you can be able to see the entire media that you've imported. Okay, so this is what you have imported, as against the previous method that you import everything. Now this is the first one, zooming in and out from the timeline editing basics. You can see now we can use this to zoom to fit. If you click on this, you're going to zoom everything to fit. Okay, so this is zoom to fit. And then you have this audio mixer. You can enable the audio mixer, so you'll be able to see which track and which audio you want to test. Okay, so by mere playing, you will be able to see the audio profile, and you'll be able to know whether it requires you to edit, to reduce or to increase the sizing. Later I will show you how to do all this in detail in the audio section. But then when you try to play, you will be able to see, so you can be able to see the audio profile, and you'll be able to see this is the master profile, which is the general one. And then this is the video profile. You'll be able to see audio profile. Also, if you have an audio in this section, you'll be able to see the profile. And this is the video section. If you have any, you can just play and you can see the profile. Usually the velocity profile or the volume profile should stay between green and yellow and should not go into the red, because that shows it is peaking. So let's have another trial. Right, so you can see the profile. Okay, so you can use this slider to just move down or go up to increase or decrease the volume accordingly. So let's go back and continue with our basic editing. And over the next tab is if you want to do a voiceover recording. We've shown that you can record your voiceover from here. You can do basic recordings with your voiceover, your screen or your webcam. You can record all that. And if you want to do directly record voiceover, you can just come over here and click on this to record any of your voiceover. Next is we have the add marker tool, which you can use to add marker. If during your editing process you have a given location that you want to add another detail, for example at this point I may want to add a coloration or I may want to add a text, I want to just click on this to add a marker. You can see I've just added a marker, and you can double click on the marker to be able to put details. So this is mark 1. You can give it another detail, maybe add text. And then you can put other comment as well, and you can change the coloration accordingly. So if you want to delete any marker, you just double click on it, go back to the same feature and just delete the marker directly, just like so. So this is about markers. And the next tab is going to give you render preview. If you want to preview it in a very smaller portion, in a very smaller size and optimized size, you can preview, and then you can see how is your editing moving. And over here you have the silence detection. You can decide to silence a given clip, okay, of your choice. You can decide to silence it, or you can decide to do text to speech or speech to text. You can do all that with Filmora 12. You can do text to speech or speech to text. And then you can come to slide edit. You can click on this to start editing your slide. You can move around across to define specific locations during your editing process. And then if you want to carry out basic editing, this is auto synchronization. If you want to synchronize maybe audios, you can do this. You can do that with this. But the next, one of the most important features that I want to show you is the editing feature, okay, in Filmora, which we are going to show in the near future. So, but this is the basic edit. This is basic edit. Once you click on this, you'll be exposed to different kind of editing profile, including the basic editing in terms of video. You have audio editing, you have color editing, and then you have the speed editing. You can speed your clip by how many percent, or by which number you want, by ×1, by ×2, or ×100. You can see the duration. You can play around with it very easily from here. But for now, let's say at the video tab, you'll be able to do different kind of transform. You can play around with different kind of keyframes. Later I will show you in detail how to add keyframes and how to flip videos. You can flip your video, you can rotate around an axis, and you can do generally very many things, like the playing with opacity, and you can drop shadow. You can enhance the do auto enhancement if you want, or thereabout. And you can check out other features as well, like the mask feature. You can check them out, the AI tools and the animation tools. You can play around with all this if you want, right? So this is on the video tab. You can check on the audio tab as well. You have a number of controls that you can work with. For example, you have the volume control. You can have the sound balance control. You can check on different kind of fade in and fade out. You can enable all that from here. The auto dockling, the equalizer, the denoising, you can do all that from here. Maybe later I will show you how to play around with the reverb in cases when you have an audio that have a lot of reverb or a lot of echo in it. You can do reverb, or you can reduce the echo with the reverb function over here. Then you have color. You have later I will talk about color in details, but then this is just to expose you to different kind of editing features from your timeline. Okay, so next is we have the keyframes. You can click on this, select the media clip, and you can click to add keyframes. Later I will show you in detail how to add keyframes on videos and on audios and even on coloration. Okay, so next we have the AI matching tool. You can play around with all this. You can play around with the duration. You can extend or reduce the duration of your media on your own, or you can color match to a given clip if you have, and then you can speed the clip. Okay, you can click to speed a clip by, you can slow it by this much, you can fasten it by this much, you can go back to normal, and you can do freeze frame, or you can reverse a particular clip. The next control or the next feature is the crop tool. Okay, once you click on this, you can do some basic cropping. For example, you can change the aspect ratio also if you want. Right now it's at 1920 by 1080, which is the default. You have a number of other defaults as well that we've explained at the beginning of the tutorial. The 4:3, the 1:1, the 9:16, and 21:9. Or you can do custom sizing as well if you want. Or on your own, you can come to the cropping section. Make sure you're at the cropping section, and then you can move over to the edge of the video. You can hover over it until your cursor turns into something like this, and you can click and drag around to resize it to any function or to any defined size of your choice. You see we are resizing it, and once you release, you're going to see that the video is going to be resized to that particular place. Okay, so you can play it, or you see you have resized it to that particular place. Okay, so feel free to give it a try. Feel free to see what you can do. You can also play around with it manually. You can type the dimension that you want to have, or you can reset everything and everything goes back to normal, which is what I want. And you can play around with the pan and zoom feature in cases you want to play with that. Next is we have the text tool. We have the quick text. This is quick text, and in quick text you have two options. You have subtitles. You can insert subtitles, and you can insert quick 3D text if you want. Okay, so you can insert subtitles, and you can add this quick 3D depending on your choice. And then we have the quick split mode. The quick split mode is very important, and it can help you to edit faster in your timeline during your video editing process. Once you click on letter C, it's going to enable the quick split mode on your keyboard. Just hit on the letter C, and you can see the quick split mode. And what it does is it splits the clip at whatever point you have put the dashed line and click. For example, I click here and I click on this, and you can see it has split my clip into two. Later I will show you how to do this in detail during the editing process. You can see I can split multiple with just a simple click of this control. Okay, so and if you want to go back to the normal mode, you can just letter V to go back to the normal mode. Next we have, you can select a click, and you can have the audio stretch. You can stretch your audio by any amount of time, and then you can do the splitting with the split button, split tab over here, or you can do Command B on Mac or Control B on Windows to be able to split your clip into two. For example, this clip, I may want to split it at this point. I can just hit on Command B, or I can just go ahead, select it. Let me undo this. Go ahead, select the clip, and then come over here and click on split, and it's going to split it into two, just like so. Okay, and then you can delete, you can undo, and you can check on the gallery where you have the toolbar. You can check on the toolbar where you have all the basic editing tabs or features. You can easily drag and drop. You can just drag it and drop it across this very timeline, so you can be able to have quick access. You can check, you can have quick text. If you don't want any of them, you can just drag it back, and you can always save to make sure you have saved everything. And you can reset to back to default in cases when you want to reset and you want the default features to appear on the timeline to be visible. If you want to hide any, you can hide. So let me cancel on this, and then we can come back to the editing process. So the next thing I want to show you is how to do basic editing in Filmora 12. So to do basic editing, you have a number of things, a number of features. Once you select the clip, you can do a number of things. For example, the trimming. You can do trimming. You can trim from the edge. You can come to the edge over here until your cursor turns into something like this. And then you can drag. Okay, you can drag just like so, and you can see it has trimmed to this point. You can do the same on the other side as well. You just drag until you get to this point. You can see you've trimmed. And if you want, you can trim also within the clip. For example, if I don't want this portion of this clip, I can just move my playhead to this point, create a split. Okay, I can just select and say Command B to create a split. And then I can use my cursor at the edge of that particular clip, and then I can click to drag. Okay, I can drag until I get to the point where I don't want all these points. So once I release, you can see it covers everything. Okay, it deletes that section and covers everything. Okay, so one thing that I forgot to show you is on this timeline, on this video timeline, you have a bunch of controls. For example, you can enable or disable a track by just clicking on this. Okay, hide a track, and you can enable or mute or unmute an audio section by just clicking. You can see you have muted the audio or unmuted. And you can lock a control. Okay, you can lock a track against any kind of editing in the future. So this is basically how to do basic editing. If you want to split, or you can do more in terms of the splitting, you can just go ahead, come over here, select and split, select, or you can enable the quick cut tool or the quick split mode by just hitting on the letter C. You can just create your split at any given point. And you can go back to the main control by just hitting on. You can go back by hitting letter V to go back to the main mouse setting, and you can move the clips across. If you want, you can move it across just by selecting and moving it around. You can just rearrange or reshuffle the clips just like so, and then you can go ahead and snap them accordingly. Just snap. You can enable. You can just select them, select multiple clips and snap. Okay. So, but in any case, if you want to do some editing, you can come over here, select the video, and then you can come to this edit. You can go ahead and do all of your editing over here. In terms of the position, you want to play around with the position. You can create keyframes. You can move directly by just, if this position you select, make sure you select the clip, and then you can come over here. You can move in the x-axis, okay, or you can move in the y-axis by just selecting and dragging to the left or right, and you can see the movement very nicely. So this is going to create keyframes for you, but later I will show you in detail how to create keyframes.